Kitchen. Today we're going to do a quick, easy experiment. Somebody was nice enough and brought me the milk chocolate morsels, and we are going to just use the recipe right on the back of the bag, but we are going to do one batch without raisins and one batch with raisins. So we're going to make this together and then test them out and tell you how the outcome is and whether or not our students prefer it with raisins or without raisins. I typed up the recipe from the back of the bag of our milk chocolate morsels, and I prefer to get the weight amount for all of our ingredients to make sure it's more accurate. So I used my scale and we came up with these amounts. 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour was 5.25 ounces. A half teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of baking soda, a half teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup or 1 1/2 sticks of butter. And we use butter. I prefer butter instead of margarine in my cookie recipes. 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar was 5.40 ounces. 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar was 2.65 ounces. We're going to have 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, our egg, 2 tablespoons of milk, the morsels, 1 cup, and we're using old-fashioned oats, which is 3.25 ounces, half a cup of raisins, which was 2.4 ounces. And what we're going to do with our raisins is we're going to do what's called rehydrating them. So we are going to put them into a microwavable vessel. So I just have this liquid measuring cup. We're going to cover it with water and then microwave it for 2 minutes. All right, we're going to mix together our dry ingredients. So just add in our cinnamon, salt, baking soda, baking powder, and make sure it's completely mixed in. We have our butter in the bowl and it's nice and soft, so we're going to paddle it. And then we're going to add in our granulated sugar, followed by the light brown sugar. Our granulated sugar is in there, and I just scrape down the bowl with our spatula so that it's nice and clean. And now we're going to add in our light brown sugar. And again, we want to paddle this until it's combined. Once you have all of your brown sugar incorporated, add your egg and make sure you scrape down the sides of the bowl and the paddle. And we'll mix that in again. Incorporated the egg, we're adding in our 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla. And now we're adding our 2 tablespoons of milk. Now we're going to add in all of our dry ingredients all at once. Before that flour is fully incorporated, I'm going to add in the oats. Next, we're going to add in our raisins that we rehydrated. You want to rehydrate them so that way when they bake, they'll still be moist and plump instead of rock hard like little pebbles. So I always rehydrate my raisins when I'm making cookies. And lastly, yay, our milk chocolate morsels, the best part. Yum. I'm using a purple handled ice cream scoop to portion the cookies, and if you have a tablespoon size one, that's great too. Then you have smaller cookies, but I'm just gonna pack this in and space it on the parchment like this. So that way there's ample space for it to bake evenly and spread. And we're using parchment on our baking sheet. If you don't have that, you could use Silpat, which is a silicone mat, or if you don't have that either, usually a greased baking sheet is fine. Here is our finished result, and on the package it says to bake it at 375. I prefer to bake my cookies at a lower temperature, so I bake these at 325 for 10 minutes. It is delicious. It's a bit crumbly, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a batch that has no raisins, and then we'll decide which ones we like. The raisin in it or no raisins in it. The raisins are optional, but we want to test it and see which one we prefer. So we're going to make another batch and put no raisins in that one and taste and compare with our class and find out. Here are our adorable cookies. This is the milk chocolate morsel with oatmeal, and this is the one without raisins. And we tried both, I personally prefer it without raisins, but that can be up to you to decide. This is our finished recipe. 5.25 ounces of all-purpose flour, half teaspoon of baking powder, half teaspoon of baking soda, half teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 sticks of butter, 5.40 ounces of brown sugar, 2.650 ounces of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of milk, 1 package of milk chocolate morsels, 3.25 ounces of old-fashioned oats, and if you do want to have it, 2.40 ounces of raisins. So experiment and try them and enjoy. They were lots of fun to make and certainly delicious. For more recipe demonstrations, please click like and subscribe to Chef Victoria Love's YouTube channel and have fun in the kitchen. Thank you.